Hello and welcome back to the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast. My name is Lindsay Walker, and today we have another incredibly special guest episode. And today I am blessed with the beautiful Chelsea Kaz-Goethel, and she is a multidimensional medicine mentor, board certified functional nutritionist, and the visionary behind the Empowered Healer Revolution, which is a movement devoted to helping healers, leaders, and light workers rise into their fullest vitality so they can share their gifts with the world, which I know a lot of you fit into this category. So this is for you. Listen up. And she really does the best at blending her science and spirit together, which she really offers this unique approach rooted in functional health, intuitive healing, and energetic mastery. Through her work, she helps mission driven women connect with their bodies, reconnect with their bodies, regulate their nervous system, and embody the frequency of wellness so that they can thrive on their path and shine in their purpose. My goodness, Chelsea, welcome to the podcast. We are so excited to have you here. I am just entirely so grateful to have you on this show. And I just want the listeners to know how truly special you are. So if you are like just listening to the beginning, you're like, should I listen to this? Please stick around. I know it's going to be incredible. So Chelsea, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It feels like such a beautiful full circle moment to have interacted with you and learned from you in so many different spaces and containers over the years to like come together like this to really, for the opportunity to share my own medicine and wisdom, but to really get to experience what gets birthed and, spoken and expressed today as we get to just play together in this beautiful multidimensional space.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. And it really is so true because this is actually like part of my own personal healing of actually inviting and having conversations with people who do very similar things to me but bring like your own unique essence and magic and medicine to the space. And I don't know if you find this as well, but I know that competition is a very potent energy in any type of space, especially for women, and I feel like we're really part of healing that. And this is not, this is really like a healing of letting that competition energy go and bringing in collaboration. So I just really have enjoyed getting to know you even more. I just know I it's very unfortunate that our previous conversation to the recording was not recorded because it's just like such a fun, I don't know, easy conversation to have with you. And I just am really grateful to be able to have cultivated this relationship with you. And yeah, like seeing you grow and just like growing alongside you. So having you on the show is a very full circle moment. So very grateful to have you.
Yeah, definitely healing for all of those sisterhood wounds of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm doing something similar to hers, so
Yeah.
we can't talk about it. And I think, one of the spaces that we've interacted in over the years is through Cellcore, right? Through their
Yeah.
foundational medicine training. And one of my very favorite things that I heard at clinical training, not clinical related at all, was, we're in a room of 500 different practitioners
Hmm.
and the owners of the company standing on stage said, look around, look at all these other healers, these other doctors, nurses, nutritionists, health coaches, NTPs, whatever it may be. And what do you see? Do you see your community? Do you see people to collaborate with, or do you see competition? And if you're seeing
Mm.
competition, you're really not here for the right reason. It's time to put your ego aside and it's time to recognize that the people that you're here to serve, if you're committed enough to your mission, you will serve the right people. And if the people around you are committed, they'll serve the right people. They're not for everybody, you're not for everybody. And they, meant it in this kind of big Western medicine, foundational medicine, functional medicine,
Mm.
and practitioner to practitioner way. But this feels like a really beautiful opportunity to just take that to the next level, that collaboration, that sisterhood, that community within the healing community, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You said it beautifully. That was incredible. I was getting full body chills when you were talking about that. And I love that perspective and bringing that to this space and not only just talking about it, but at least for me, like bringing you on, having this conversation. We also did an Instagram live talking all about minerals. And yes, I'm sorry in advance. I brought another person that's just obsessed about minerals as I am onto this show. So if you haven't gotten on the mineral train yet, I will be shocked if you're not on it at the end of this. You can also go watch that Instagram live. It was amazing.
Super fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I would love to hear because I heard a little bit about your backstory, but I would love to hear just how you got into this. And I know that you're on like quite the evolution right now.
Mhm.
So,
True. True.
I mean, you, but how did you even get started in this at all? What was
Yeah.
the jumping off point? What was that like one trigger that got you into this work?
Yeah. Well, I grew up, I was really lucky to grow up with a mom that was pretty natural healthcare oriented. She's actually a life coach. So I got a lot of like mindset, emotional work kind of woven into that as well. And as a teenager, went full, rebellion, started to participate in activities and ways of life and living and eating that were not helpful or supportive for my body. And I still kind of listened. I cut out gluten, but I ate a lot of Flamin' Hot Cheetos and went to college and didn't sleep enough and had gut issues and hormonal issues and acne and anxiety and insomnia and headaches and you name it, it was happening over here, right? Super,
Hmm.
big immune system issues and things like that. And the first kind of wake up moment for me was actually right at the end of my undergrad, getting ready to take the MCAT and having a panic attack. I was planning to go to med school. I wanted to be a gynecologist. Like that was my plan. Even though my very wise mother had said like maybe you consider other forms of, health and healing. And I was like, you're crazy.
Mm.
And so that was my first kind of moment and wake up call. One, I felt like shit, but I just, kept drinking Red Bull and rum and
As
hoping for
one
the
does.
best, as one does. Like at 21, you can sort of fuel yourself with that, but you can't feel anything about yourself other than
Yeah.
caffeine and alcohol. So that was my first kind of wake up. I was like, and it wasn't about the subject matter of the test. It wasn't about the exam, itself being hard. It was something's misaligned here. And it felt more
Mhm.
like, in that moment, it felt more like a door closing and like the end of what I knew myself to be, who I knew myself to be, than it did an opportunity. But of course, now we go, oh, that was obviously the universe sending you some guidance here. And so I kind of, tripped through my early 20s, met my husband, was really lucky to meet somebody that even though in that era and space of my life, I did not love myself. They say you have to love yourself to love someone else. Okay. Well,
Spoiler alert, you don't.
spoiler alert, you don't. It does probably help, but it is possible, to meet someone in an era and then become deeply dedicated to loving each other
Mhm.
and learning how to love yourselves. That's possible. I'm here to tell you. This is not a
Yeah.
love podcast, but that's a thing. Um,
A little nugget.
a little wisdom. And I was about 24 and I started working at a chiropractic clinic. I needed a job. I had been working in group homes prior to that because it felt like helping and I didn't really know what else I wanted to do with my life after getting derailed from the medical school path.
Mm.
And
What were
this
you
was
doing at the chiropractor?
I started out as a patient advocate, kind of a
Mhm.
chiropractic assistant, but this was the
Mm.
first time I was really introduced to natural medicine, holistic medicine, in like an organized fashion. I had seen it to some degree when I was younger. We took some supplements growing up. If we got sick, we used herbs instead of, cold medicine. Very rarely did we
Mhm.
go in for, kind of standard sicknesses, but I
Mhm.
had never seen it like standardized. And in this particular office, the chiropractor that I worked for used nutrition response testing. And
Right.
as the helper, I got to receive that care and it transformed my health, right? My skin cleared up. I was no longer exhausted. This cough that I had had for like 6 years went away. My husband was convinced I had lung cancer. I was like, I'm not going to go in because what are they going to do for it? He was like, oh my
Right.
God. And then it cleared up, which was lovely. Like my gut got better, my mood got better, all of these things changed. And through that, which is such a common story for people in our field, right?
Oh,
I
every
got
time, yeah.
I got sick. And so I then, as I healed, I recognized or realized like this is a part of my calling, right? And it was
Mm.
so very body oriented, maybe a little bit nervous system mixed in. And then when I reflect on it, I realize now it was part of my calling. In the moment, it felt like this is my whole calling, right? Like I'm here to help
Right.
people heal their bodies. And so
Mhm.
I went through all the way through advanced clinical training. I went back and got my master's in nutrition, went through board certification and residency and all of those things in functional medicine, functional nutrition, muscle testing, nutrition response testing, foundational medicine, and really for a long time was pretty satisfied with that. For about 3, 4 years, really leaning into kind of the alternative or holistic healing space when it comes to bodies, right?
Mhm.
And then something started to feel a little bit off. This is not a long story short. This is the full story.
Oh, please. I would just want to say I didn't realize how similar our stories were. Like
Hmm.
small pieces are different, but I'm just like sitting here and I'm like, wow, you're like reflecting
Oh, we're
my
twins
life.
from
Like
some
this is like the
alternate
most wild
universe.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. There's a Lindsay and a Chelsea Walker Kaz-Goethel duo somewhere in some alternate timeline. Absolutely.
Maybe this is
100%.
always why I pull like alien stones every time I'm working with you. Like I just told her before we started, I always grab a stone, and today it was the alienite stone. Every time I'm with you, I'm grabbing anything alienite or the Lemurian quartz, anything like that. Like, okay, I just had to say that because I'm like sitting
Hmm.
here, I'm fascinated and mind blown at the same time. Like,
Hmm.
obviously, we've talked, but like not totally in depth on like origin stories. So I love
Absolutely.
this. Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you're saying like, it felt like your calling, but you're like, now there's something else.
There's something here. And I started to recognize it in the care that I offered to my patients or clients at the time. And from a paper perspective, how often does this happen? Everything looked perfect. I had a full schedule, 80 to 100 patients a week. We had a full
Ooh,
support staff. Yeah.
that's a
Uh,
lot.
15-minute appointments with each person. Like it was a lot. And I would run from, Monday morning for 50 hours a week and just be in service to people. And it was amazing, right? You'd watch people's health transform, and when their health transform, their life transforms, and they can get on the ground with their grandkids and play or show up to, a new job that they're really passionate about instead of staying at the one that sucks, or they get to renew in their partnership or leave a crappy partnership or whatever. And you're like, this is really incredible. And then I just kept getting these little inklings, right? And all along I was, I'd meditate a little or listen to Abraham Hicks or talk to my mom, and we'd talk about, the emotional scale and emotional clearing and these things. So I had this kind of logical concept of emotional and energetic wellness, and I sort of applied it. And the longer I ignored these inklings for myself, the longer I started to recognize it in my patients as well. Like, I'm missing something here. They're getting better, but they're getting stuck. They're like,
Hmm.
I feel pretty good, but I haven't really felt in the last, versus the first 6 months, the second 6 months, I kind of feel the same as I did 6 months ago. And it's like, we're stuck on something here. And I
Mm.
ignored it and I shoved it down and I suppressed it. And then all of my symptoms started to come back. I stopped sleeping well. My energy started to change. My gut got weird. I started to deal with like weird rashes. All sorts of things started happening. And I was like, fudge. Like, and there was no amount of muscle testing, supplements, chiropractic adjustments, massage, sauna. Like there was nothing physical. It would help a little, but there was nothing that would fix it. And it all kind of came to a head in the fall of 2022, really the summer of 2022, where it was just like,
Mhm.
I'm going to work. I am serving these people. If I'm not with a client one to one, like in their energy, I'm basically ill. I'm either like literally nauseous, I'm exhausted, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I would come home every night and just be like a wreck. My husband was like, maybe it's time to not do that anymore. And I was like, but my clients, I can't leave them. These are my people. And it blew up pretty much September of 2022. I came out on the other side sitting at home instead of going to work on a Monday morning, in a button up, pretending that your physical body is really the only thing that matters. And we do have emotions, but we don't talk about those here. That's not kosher. No, 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 no. That's for therapy. We don't get paid enough to do therapy. Think about. Um, therapists probably should get paid more. But
Oh, yeah.
anyways, uh, and I was sitting in this office and just going, what the fuck just happened? Full dark night of the soul, right? And I still had people find me and reach out to me and go, where did you go? What are you doing next? Like, I want to continue care with you. But I knew I was like, if I'm going to do this myself, if I'm going to start a business, if I'm going to be the only practitioner, like if I'm going to do this, I have to do this the right way. I cannot recreate the wheel. I cannot just put lipstick on a pig and go, yep, I do the exact same thing for myself now, which has been a constant evolution. And we're really, like you mentioned, and like you're recognizing, I'm in the biggest kind of call up of that of my life right now. Um,
Wow.
Terrifying and amazing all at the same time, right?
I feel you in that. So did you just literally go, like you said, you had this in what, summer 22 or fall 22? Was it just like you just left? Or what was, you said you had this big dark night of the soul. What was that? Like, how did you realize? Because I know, and the reason why I want to like dive into this is because I know other people are listening are like, oh my God, I feel that too. Did you just like cut cold turkey and you're like, I need to figure this out? Like, what was that for you?
Yeah, I came to this point. So I worked at a clinic, right? I worked for a chiropractor. And at the same time, that fall of 2022, I was starting a functional nutrition residency program virtually through a functional med clinic. And so I had this
Mm-hmm.
weird kind of like, I have my job, I was going to go part-time, I'm going to start this residency, still body-based, but it's something
Mm-hmm.
new. It felt good to be doing something different. And that created this like pressure and tension and questioning of like my intention and my loyalty in my work at the clinic. And it like emotionally and relationally came to a head with my bosses. And it was basically like, you either make the choice to be fully committed here or you're done. And I was like, surprised, but like this was a long time coming. Had I, not had blinders on that summer, I would have gone, you know what? Things are just so energetically off. My purpose and my work and the way that I want to evolve is not being fostered here anymore. I thank you for your time and your service for the last 6 years. I'm out. And instead I stayed and I suffered and I struggled and all the things that I chose, right? I'm like, oh, I suffered so much. It's like good choices, Chelsea. Really, really good job. It's you, yourself, and you over there. And from a dark night of the soul perspective, it really was like on a Sunday, we had that conversation. And on a Monday, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Well, one, I'm going to burn all of the stupid button up shirts that I used to wear to work. That's for sure. Two, I'm going to sit with what am I really here to be doing? And that answer did not come quickly. That was not a like, let me do one meditation and journal for 20 minutes and I'll understand the next iteration of who I'm here to be and who I'm here to serve and how I'm here to work. Really, truly, it's probably been a full 2.5 year journey to get to that understanding. And such a ego death after ego death to realize like you ego, you mind are likely not going to be able to relate to what we're really here to do. And that means we
Mm-hmm.
fight this constant loving battle of like recognizing what's comfortable, recognizing that the more I just lean into functional med in the body, the more comfortable I am, but actually the more uncomfortable I am because it's not my whole truth. And then just weaving back and forth between those two and recognizing at the end of days with clients where I'm really body based that I feel drained and exhausted, and at the end of days with clients where I get to weave both together, hey, let's talk about emotions. Let's do some clearing. Let's tap into your energy. Let's look at what's happening in your field and how does that relate to your body and how does your body relate to those things? Like I'm pumped up at the end of those days, right? And so just going,
Mm-hmm.
that's truly what feels better, even though it scares the shit out of my brain. That's truly what feels better. Ugh, and yet just keep, I have like my stomach is literally like, huh, like, gonna be okay, buddy. Uh, visceral reaction over here. Um,
Just
so
working stuff out.
truly, right? It's like, right, we got some maybe look at that later, a little solar plexus action, but it's fine.
Isn't it crazy how much your body can really tell you? Like you said, the days you get done with the more body-based, only physical clients, your body is like, "Hey, this ain't it." Versus the ones where you could really show up as your full self and not even show up as your full self, but show them their full self, reflect back to them and really go into everything that you know is going to support them, how much more your body is lit up. It's crazy because even like you're
Mm,
saying, your mind is like, but I'm terrified. Like, I don't want to do this. And it's like, well, yes, but that is the growth in your brain and your ego. I feel like the brain and the ego really kind of get like a bad rap because it's like, oh, everyone blames it on the ego. I'm like, it's literally trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you alive.
yep,
Can we like not make fun of it to the point where it's like, let's disregard it?
I'm with you totally. I feel like the way that have I'm working to reframe it. It's like when those fears come up, right? Like when that old story or when that, whatever, like, oh, don't do that. It's new, it's scary. It's like, oh, that's just a little check engine light from a part of us for a part of us that needs love, right? Oh, that's an
Mm,
old story that when we change, we lose people. And when we lose people, that means we're not loved. So we better not change so we don't lose people because then we won't be loved. Well, that comes from who knows how many versions of child, teenager, 20-year-old Chelsea that's like, oh, let's turn and let's look at you and let's love on you and show you that it's going to be safe and like look at how much love we do have in our lives. And beyond the people in our lives, we have the love of God source universe and the love of Mother Earth and the love of, the pets and the animals and the trees and all of these things, right? So it's
Hmm.
an opportunity to look back and help create more integration and regulation and safety and love instead of like fuck you ego, the ego's trash, down with the ego. It's like no, the ego is just showing us where there are still parts of us and pieces of us that deserve more love than they got in the moment probably.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's a great way to look at it and to see it because I'm someone that has really leaned into some fears lately and almost like let the ego kind of run the show and then you do end up with this overthinking and spiraling. So there's certainly like a balance, a give and a take of like recognizing, okay, the fears and the ego are coming up. Amazing, but maybe not let it stop your entire plan, direction, action. Like there's a recognition without a full on halting. And I think that's a dance because it's like sometimes I don't know if you feel this way. It's like in some situations that feels maybe a little bit more doable. It's like, oh, you're feeling edgy today. Like,
Hmm.
let's do it. Versus other days, you're like, nope, you can have it all. Like, you can just take all the energy. You can guide the ship and run the show. And I'm just going to be here and be the recipient of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it is a
Well,
dance.
it is, and it's that balance between, right, they fear and excitement live on the same line. So it's like where am I falling in that? And some days, we do have to pause and go, if this feels so big, and so like you just have it, I'm going to tend to my body and I'm going to tend to my
Hmm.
nervous system. So as we continue to up level and we continue to lean in, and it's so interesting, and I feel like this is a really collectively accepted language that we call the new thing scary, right? That in itself feels a little
Ooh,
bit like a mind trick that we've gotten into, where we're like, well, what if we just call those things exciting? And then if we're like, that's
yeah.
exciting, and it's actually like, nope, that makes me physically ill to think about. All right, well, let me go, maybe again, regulate the nervous system, look at any, emotional parts that need attention, any inner child, whatever, whatever, right? Am I low on minerals and I'm literally just like,
Yeah.
"Ugh," like my blood sugar is so dysregulated that I can't even think about doing anything else?
Yeah.
Or is this truly exciting, right? But it is like a very collectively accepted language to go like, it's scary, but do it anyway. It's why are we
Yeah.
calling it scary? What if we called it something else?
Yeah, you're so right. You hit the nail on the head with that one because I don't know if you've heard the statement too where people say I think it's that fear or feeling something is scary is basically excitement without the breath.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a pretty common statement, but you're right.
Yep.
Like the our words are spells. So like you're saying if people are always saying they're even saying like, "Oh, it's scary, but do it." And
Yeah.
you're like, "But that energy, that frequency of the word scary does not make me want to do it. In fact, it makes me
Mm-mm.
want to do the opposite. And it doesn't make me want to
Yeah.
invite breath in.
No, I still want to survive, right? And if I'm in survival
Right?
mode, right, then I'm not breathing, and then I'm
No.
I'm holding my breath and clenching my jaw and trying to figure out where the threat is. And the threat's internal, so I can't find it. And then I'm in a loop of beating up on myself and overthinking and then
Hmm.
not doing it and then going numb and scrolling on my phone instead and waking up the next day and going, damn it, I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do yesterday because I didn't set myself up for success. And maybe it's as simple, right? Simple as a language
Hmm.
shift sometimes at least.
Certainly. Certainly that is sometimes like what it takes. And other times, and you even alluded to it too. Like you've been on this even deeper journey for maybe the last 2.5 years. So also really recognizing that like maybe it's not necessarily going to be this giant shift overnight. Sometimes it is, depending on what it is for you, but being okay with like, I bet you if we went back to 2.5 years ago, Chelsea, and be like, hey, guess what she's doing now?
Nope,
Like
no way.
you couldn't even see it.
Who's that bitch? Like, nope, no chance.
And
Absolutely.
giving yourself that opportunity to continuously evolve and like following the signs. And, everyone says, oh, trust yourself and trust your intuition. Yeah, sure. Like better said than done, certainly. But it's that continuous practice over and over again. Cause I bet, like,
Hmm.
for the 2.5 years, you've been refining yourself, trusting yourself more. I
Hmm.
imagine it's been, quite, and you build that trust, you build that muscle over time. So, maybe you
Absolutely.
trust yourself more than you did 2.5 years ago, but it wasn't like overnight.
No, no. And for me, it has involved a lot of, I think we all have our like muggle selves, right? And our
Hmm.
like magical selves. if we want to go with that language. And for me, what I've experienced is if I don't acknowledge the fear or the excitement or the expansion or the growth and like really let myself kind of at least recognize it and kind of work with it. If I just pretend like, yep, I'm quantum leaping and I'm all good, which like hell yeah for quantum leap, right? Like 10x, let's go, let's do this thing. And what I will find in myself, and this has really been actually the biggest awareness piece for me, is my pendulum will swing from magical to muggle so fast. And then I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm scrolling LinkedIn for nutritionist jobs at hospitals. I'm like, what the
Like literally.
like, oh, like you couldn't, I don't even think I would do a nutritionist job at a hospital for $1 million a year. But in those moments, I'm like, somebody get me high noon, and I probably wouldn't eat flaming hot Cheetos, but maybe right now. I don't know. You want to order pizza tonight? Let's do pizza. And my husband's like, okay, sure. I love pizza, sure, maybe, but like, are you good? I'm like, nothing, no shade at pizza, right? Pizza can be lovely, but that's
Yes.
just a that's a check engine light for Chelsea. She's like on LinkedIn eating not her normal food and like drinking alcohol, honestly. And it's like, oh, you went so muggle so hard. And it doesn't mean you can't full swing back to, magical, but it's really been for me learning to like lean into this ebb and this flow, which is ultimately really honoring the human and
Mm-hmm.
honoring the alien within, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the earthing, the grounding, like the being in the body and the beautiful connection we have to our intuition and our highest self and to the energy of the 3D and 5D and all of the Ds, right? However many there are now. 11, I don't know.
Oh, I think there's 12.
12,
There's
shit.
another one. I bet we'll get to 13.
It's like organs. We keep discovering new organs in the body, and they're like, oh, so
We
that
found
turns
another.
out we found another one, but we're experts. Don't worry. We know everything about the body, but this one just snuck up on us. We grew that one. It's like, what? Holy shit. So
Oh
body
man.
parts, dimensions, we're always learning. And it has really been a journey in softening the swings between the muggle and the magical. And I would say that's been the biggest really eye opener and the opportunity for me to love all the parts of myself as well, which is such a huge part of any healing journey, right? Whether that's
Yeah.
healing our bodies, healing our emotions, healing our souls, healing our relationships, healing and evolving the work that we do, or whatever it may be. That's been the thing.
That muggle to magic pendulum swing is like the best analogy I have ever seen and heard of. I'm can't get over that one. But
Mm,
I think what you said is super important is really not about it's not making yourself wrong for things. It's allowing yourself to what you were saying, like go into the muggle, the human, go into the magic, the spirit, but not and yes, there's a blending, there's a balancing, there's an alignment and one is teaching you one thing, one is teaching you the other. But what I'm hearing from you saying is like not making yourself wrong for one or the other of saying like, oh my gosh, now even like the desire to go on LinkedIn and like find a regular job, which I mean, I've totally done that maybe yesterday, so it's fine. I
it
was
might still be in my search history. It's don't worry
I
about
might
it.
be getting emails. Um, Again, like as you're talking, I'm like, I think she's living a different version of my life. Okay, cool, great.
Yep. Yep.
I'm glad I'm not alone. Like, thank you for this. But
Not
yeah,
alone
it's
at
not
all.
making yourself wrong for any of it.
Yeah.
And that is not a very common statement perpetualized in our society because it's
No.
usually like you have to be you have to be full human or you have to be full, in touch with your intuition and only listen to the intuitive nudges of your soul. And like that's what really makes these spiritual healers so sick in their bodies because they literally forgot they had a body. And then the people who are also recognize they have a body and then forget like, hey, you have a soul, like there's more to life. And what if we didn't make ourselves wrong for wanting the pizza and wanting all the things? Recognizing, like you're saying, you're like, that's a pattern. That's something like if that's coming up, like that should send off an alarm bell. That's not maybe quote unquote normal for you. That's not a barometer of I am in alignment. I'm feeling great about myself. Like let's take a step back. But it's not that there's something wrong.
Exactly. And I think that not making yourself wrong for having whatever experience you're having, for feeling whatever way you're feeling about it, but shifting into like conscious awareness of it, right? Like if I want
Mhm.
pizza, I want to be fully present to the pizza. Like I don't want to be numb, scroll hole, the friends on the TV for the 967th time, like a little bit buzzed, not really conscious of the fact that I'm eating pizza. I want to be like
Yeah.
in it and enjoying it because that is the magic of being human, right? Like a human is not innately a muggle, it's not a human to alien
Hmm.
swing. It's like
Hmm.
you are all of these things having a human experience in a human body. And so that like
Hmm.
presence and being and going like I had a big meditation and realization this morning, or I had a big conversation that stretched my emotional capacity, or I showed up in a way that was uncomfortable, but I knew was right. And now I get to like exhale and just come in and be human. And even if that human is like, I'm really digging on some Cherry Garcia ice cream tonight, like, okay, like honor that. That's not wrong. But it's like, I
Right.
think where we get so tripped up on it's bad that we had this experience. It's bad that you
Hmm.
were anxious or you were sad or well, it's because we're not present to it. And the
Hmm.
beauty of being present to whatever is going on physically, chemically, emotionally, spiritually is that when you're recognizing, when you see it, you get lessons from it, or it might just be an opportunity to love that little shadow a little bit more, or to, glean some wisdom from it, or to go, oh, that's actually not even mine. Let me, me judging myself for eating ice cream like that didn't, I have no judgment for me eating ice cream, but that is
Hmm.
some societal programming right there. That's some like, oh, okay, it's bad to eat it. Oh, where that's not even mine. Like, out you go, right? It's just the constant opportunities. Not that we need to constantly be healing, right? I think that's definitely a
Right.
trap, this constant healing loop. But it's this constant opportunity to come home to like your truest self. Like, who are you really here to be? Your like clearest, most lovely, most human, most muggle, most magical, most alien version of you. And that comes from that presence in whatever is
Hmm.
happening and not making yourself wrong for it. That is like the if we could all just go, all right, I have a headache, that doesn't mean that I'm bad or wrong. I'm feeling anxious, that doesn't mean that I'm bad or wrong. Like
Yeah.
I am avoiding XYZ, that doesn't mean I'm bad or wrong. It's just an experience I'm having.
Right.
We would all be, I mean, just the world would be vastly different.
I think that's what we're moving to, but certainly like that's not where we're at. And it's like half of people totally understand that. And then there's a quarter of those people that actually embody and do it. And then the other people are like, that's rubbish. It's like,
Hmm.
garbage. And first off, I love the analogy, especially of the food, like because I know you and I came from nutrition backgrounds in a way, and they're like, these are the good foods, these are the bad foods. This is going to balance your blood sugar. This isn't, whatever. They kind of cultivate the like the boxes, the right and the wrong. And I don't even know who told me this. It was years ago, but I just heard the analogy of like I'd rather have a happy happy donut and not a sad salad. I think it
Yeah,
was a happy donut. That sounds
yeah,
about right. And you can overdo that a little bit. Like, I'm gonna have a happy donut every day. Okay, well, eventually it's like not gonna serve your body versus like, the sad salad. But if
yeah,
you're sad eating the salad, there's a difference between like the energy behind that. But
absolutely.
it's like, how do we morph the what is your body actually calling for? And you said something too, like when your body is feeling certain things, like maybe it is a headache or maybe it is anxiousness or whatever the feeling is, your body's going to tell you, but it's really your job to go into it. What is it telling you? Like I know, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday morning. Feels like a lifetime ago. It was
Probably
yesterday where,
was.
right? Yeah, as it is. And yeah, I'd had this massive headache and I was like, I could feel every inch of my body just like contracting. And I was like, there's
Mm,
something here. There's totally something here. There's so much avoidance going on. And my husband, my dog, went for a walk. And I was like, I almost went. And I was like, you know what? I actually think I need the house by myself. And yeah, like I let myself go into it. And there were so many emotions that just wanted to come out. And because I was able to create that safe space for myself, I knew like, what did I need? I needed a house alone. If that was 15 minutes, great. It's like, and I figured out a way to create that because
hmm
my husband isn't always working from home, but that day he was. And I was like, I need to create space for myself. How do I do this? But I had to consciously choose to
hmm
go into it and see what was happening and then go feel it and let it go. And do you know that day ended up being the most magical day? And it started out the shittiest day.
hmm hmm
But that's what we have to
Absolutely.
do. You have to acknowledge it and do something about it and not do as didn't do more, but face it head on, feel whatever's going on.
Yes, one, and to bring it back to the fear thing, there's such a fear of not feeling well, of not looking well, not feeling well, not being perfect, whatever, whatever. And so then we get this resistance to a physical symptom or emotional or energetic or whatever it may be, and then we don't go into it. And then we resist it and we shove it down or we numb it out. And so there's a time and a place, right? Like if you have a migraine and you got to get through your day, like use the tools that you know how to use, but use them
Hmm.
consciously, right? And
Yeah.
if what if everybody was just taught from the get-go, like, hey, those symptoms don't necessarily mean good, bad, wrong, ugly, whatever. Now, if you have a
Hmm.
symptom that is persisting and you can't figure it out and or maybe you have no healthcare background and you're like, I don't know what any of this fucking means, find
Hmm.
somebody to help you, right? This is not a
Right.
suggestion that we don't ever seek support, but we seek it from an empowered place
Yeah.
after we're willing to take at least a little space, right? What if when we were young, what if you're in kindergarten, you're in elementary school, and you're like, oh, I have a tummy ache, I need to go to the nurse. And what if the nurse was like, hey, okay, so let's just sit with this for a minute. What do you think your tummy's trying to tell you? And you're like, I'm gonna puke on you. And they're like, okay, that's what you had to tell me today, right? Right? But like, what if it was just built in to not be afraid to observe what we're experiencing or what our bodies are trying to tell us or what that little anxiety or fear or big fear or worry, what that means to us, right? But that we're
Yeah.
so almost unwilling to look at what seems bad that we perpetuate the quote unquote bad. It's not actually bad, but we create the story around it. And if we were just so rooted in being present and conscious, because that's the gift of being human, right? Like
Hmm.
we get to be conscious in a body. If we were so rooted in that as a collective, like something weird popped up, I'm gonna just take a minute and look at this. Hey, I'm gonna step away from this call because I just really like this is really calling my attention. Or
Hmm.
hey, I need to create space for myself to investigate this. And that
Yeah.
investigation might lead you to an emotional clearing. It might lead you to a physical, a biohacking or a supplement. It might lead you to another
Hmm.
practitioner. It might lead you to the hospital. Like it might lead you to a psychic, wherever it leads you, right?
Hmm.
But if we were really willing to like let the noise go for a second and just observe,
Hmm.
we would be out of this like scraggle, baggle, ramble, disconnected kind of seeking all the time. But in that seeking, we're just creating those healing loops, right? And we're just labeling things as problems, and we're not actually ever identifying with who we truly are. We're just letting these bad things define us instead of just looking at them and going, "Oh, this is just a piece of information."
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you. And I think it's a good reframe for people to have. Even like you were saying, like it might lead you to someone else's support. So, like, even as a practitioner or a healer or whatever the heck you want to call yourself, like, certainly there is opportunities. And, I'm sure you have this yourself for like you to look at your own shit, like, embody your own work, do your own stuff. And then maybe there's a point where you actually need other support
Oh,
and knowing when there's a difference.
this thing is not a soul cared for. Like I have a team of mechanics,
Yeah.
physical, emotional, spiritual, all the things, right? Like if I
Yeah.
thought I could do this alone, we're not meant to do this alone, right?
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely not. We are here. There's how many billions of us here? Like
Yeah.
we're meant to be together. We're meant to do this together. And I would be kidding myself. And I've gone through seasons like this where I'm like, I can figure this out. I can feel what's right. I can muscle test it. I can emotional clear. I can sense what I need. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm spending a lot of energy trying to prove to myself that I'm my own healer, which like
Hmm.
we're all our own healer, right? That's the whole empowered healer way. And being your own healer means that you recognize when it's actually time to seek like empowered, aligned support from somebody else. Not because you're the victim to what's going on, but because you're like, hey, maybe I don't have the mental capacity or the knowledge or the know-how to figure this out. Or I would just love a second set of eyes or a second intuition to help me sort of figure this out, or a second muscle tester, or a
Hmm.
second person who can read labs, or a second person who can read energy, or like I'm trying to work with my own chakras and I'm in some sort of energetic figure eight. I feel like a Rubik's cube that just keeps getting flipped around. There's colors everywhere. Someone please help me. Like
Yeah.
I did my best and it turns out that this is a learning opportunity to go, we are not meant to do this alone. And it's really
Hmm.
beautiful to heal in community and to exist fully in community. Like that's such a gift.
It really is. It is. And I think it's going back to like when we started about healing that sisterhood wound and the the competition energy that can really be. And there is this, again, this balance. I think, at least I felt this when I started getting into this work. It's like there is almost like a level of you wanting to help yourself to be the embodied version of yourself, be the embodied healer of whatever you call yourself, to say, not only do I understand this, but I actually embody and live my life in what I teach. And then at what point do I go, like you said, go get support from other people? So
Yeah,
it's kind of like both.
there wouldn't be other healers here if we didn't all, I don't know if need is the right word, but if we didn't all thrive with the support of other people. And
Right.
from a community of practitioners or healers or light workers or whatever we call ourselves, who knows?
Got a whole list. It'll change tomorrow too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like within that, the beauty is that each of our own experiences and educations and intuitions and journeys have led us into a space where we are all working towards the common goal, right? The common goal is
Yeah.
that the people that we serve are able to bring their body and their energy into this really beautiful, like woven together, aligned space. So they get to show up and feel and live the way that they know they're meant to. They know
Hmm.
that they are stardust in a meat suit. They're like, I have my muggle, I have my magic, but I know how to bring it together. I'm willing to be conscious and present and to observe and to, dedicate myself to feeling and living and functioning the best that I can in every realm of health. I'm pretty sure that's what we're all sort of going for. I don't know.
I would agree. I would say
Okay.
most people around
Thank
us
you.
agree.
I was like,
Yes.
is this what we're all working toward? That's my language of it though, right? And so
Right. Right.
that's my lingo and that's my perspective of it based
Mhm.
on my experience and all of the things that have led me here. And that means that there are people who are meant to and will magnetize and radiate toward like that language and that resonance. Like that's what I'm here for. And the way that
Yeah.
you would describe that is probably a little bit different,
Hmm.
equally as potent, but like aligned and magnetic for somebody for a different subset of people. And if I
Right.
tried to serve your people, it would go good, right? And if you tried to
Hmm.
serve mine, they would be like best I've ever been, right? Absolutely. And I don't want to serve everybody. My God, I've tried that. In my early days as a muscle testing, nutrition response testing practitioner, it was all quantity over quality. And so we'd have a new patient come in and it'd be like a 65-year-old dude with prostate problems. And I was a 25-year-old lady. And I was like, I don't even want to talk about the fact that you have a prostate. I don't even want to look where your prostate exists. No, no. Okay, I'm standing across the room and I'm going to throw some prostate support supplements at you. But that seems good. It's fine, right? Like, ooh,
Yeah.
from that all the way to the like similar aged person who's like, I'm working on my hormones and my health and my gut because, I'm really into this like cool job that I'm doing and it feels impactful, but my energy is kind of fucking up my ability to show up. So can we work on? Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's my person, right? So like
Right.
we get to like there is the correct person exists for old man prostate, and it is not
Right.
me. And I'm so happy that the person exists for that to support that person in their healing, right? And so now we
Hmm.
get to, I think, the call up for both of us in this era of refinement and recognition and like leaning into the fear slash excitement of claiming who we are and who we're here to serve is that we're more specific than ever about who we know we're here to partner with on healing journeys, right? And that
Hmm.
is such a big moment of like, oh, I'm not here for everybody. But then you look around and you go, but I have a whole community of incredible providers and practitioners that falls in different places on the body to energy spectrum of healing that are right for the people that are ready for healing that actually is more complete than just, you know, drugs and surgery and, you know, whatever, which
Right.
there's a time and a place. We know that. But that spectrum exists so that we can more confidently lean into like the truth of who we're here to serve, which circles back to the healing and the well-being that we get to embody, which is
Hmm.
getting supported. It's embodying our own medicine, and it is also receiving support from the amazing people that we're surrounded by. It's the whole spectrum, whole cycle.
It is. It is. And I love that, like, having this conversation with you that also like sees it, understands it, and not only understands it, but lives it. And I know that you and I have had some conversations because also what you're talking about is like the resonance and the frequency between you and your clients. But then there's been like a resonance and frequency between like healers, practitioners, whatever you want to call it, leaders in this space. And I know that you and I have had these conversations before of like, are we picking up on similar things? And it's like, there's almost like this collective of us that are moving towards this very similar goal of essentially helping humanity. I'll just say heal for lack of better terms. That's gonna like keep
Mhm.
it real concise. We could like put a
Mhm.
giant description on that, but like we'll just
Yep.
put one word on it and
There's an
tie a bow on it.
asterisk, but
Yeah.
I like it.
There's a giant description below. But it's essentially this, right?
It's a large footnote. The footnote is a page long.
It might link to a book. It's
So
fine.
novel, it's fine.
But it's like we're connecting to this very similar energy, this frequency as the leaders of this space. And then it's like you're kind of attracting and resonating these clients. And then some of them are actually going to be so attracted that they want to resonate and they are tapped into this energy and this frequency that you and I are really tapping into.
Hmm.
And that's when it does get a little bit more magical and less logical because and that's I think how at least at the beginning I was starting to being able to see, like you were saying, like, sure, we could swap clients if you wanted to, and they would be great, but there would be just like an energetic disresonance between
Hmm.
it. Like there's just something not right, something missing. Like when you explain that example of, a woman who's going through something very similar that maybe you did, like a lot of people will say your client is you 5 years ago or
Hmm.
5 minutes ago.
32 seconds ago, honestly,
Yep, I
sometimes.
can help you. I figured this out.
Yep.
And
Right
there's an
now.
energetic resonance to
Hmm.
that versus the old man who it's like certainly like there is someone out there for you who understands you and can not only understand you but really serve you in such a better way. And that's really where this energetic resonance comes into play, like your background, your experience, everything you have done in your life has created your energetic resonance, and that is what is pulling you towards people and vice versa. Like it's happening with everyone with these collaborations. Like I'm seeing how people are coming on here for certain reasons. Like I'm pulling people in for certain reasons. That's
Hmm.
happening everywhere, but it's only happening if you're feeling the resonance and doing it, not just
Hmm.
because your logical brain said you should do
Hmm.
XYZ with this person.
Well, and to circle it all the way back, what does that mean? You have to take moments to get present to like what's really right here in front of me. That doesn't just mean we're present to like bad shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to get present because like if I that I'm gonna spend my whole day looking at symptoms and analyzing fear and worry and anxiety. Like, no,
Hmm.
no, no. It also means that you're present to the goodness and to the resonance of the this and the I always picture like when we're really in alignment, when like our body and our soul come together, it's like the energy of the earth and like the energy of the cosmos, they come down, they meet in our heart space, and it's this like light that illuminates step by step by step on our path, right? And like if
Hmm.
you are present, you're like, I can't figure it out in my brain, but like, oh, if I really get present to like, oh, there's a little glimmer of like what am I meant to do next? What am I meant to say next? Who am I meant to be next? How do I get to show up? It's right there. And that's what we get when we're present. Not just like, I gotta go look at all the bad stuff that's happening. Oh, I feel like garbage. Let me go analyze why I got the stomach flu for a second time this year,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm also present to like the glimmers and the goodness and the love and our ability to and our willingness to look at the ick, right? It's nothing's good, bad. We know this language, right? It's good or
Yeah.
bad or whatever, right? Or I love, but okay, we if you're here, right?
And if you didn't, now you do.
Now you do from that really beautiful explanation that was mostly noises and hand waving. Uh, it's great for it's a podcast,
We don't need
good.
words. It's fine. It's just
It's resonance,
frequency,
right?
right?
Uh, our willingness or your willingness to observe, to hold, to look at the things that might not be as good as you want them to be also expands your willingness to hold and experience the things that you do want in your life and the goodness in your life. And I know that when we're in that dark night of the soul, or we're in those moments where we're like, I can't even like I'm I don't even know what I'm doing with myself. It's really hard to hear that, right? It's really hard to remember. Like
Mhm.
and from the depths of like it's 3 in the morning and I cannot sleep because I'm so physically uncomfortable because I didn't process emotions for the last however many years and I am just like sick to my stomach and it doesn't matter how much I tap or take supplements or go lay on the grass outside. Like this is I just I guess have to be in this darkness and hold this darkness because to not hold it is to resist that it's a part of me. It's to shun a part of me away. But the more willing I am to look at and hold and observe and experience and express the darkness, quote unquote, the shadow, the more I expand my capacity to experience and hold the goodness and the light. Because if
Mm,
we're never going to just be the light, like the right? They go together. It's the pendulum. You're never, well, maybe you're going
hmm
to just be an alien. I don't know, whatever happens next. We're running around somewhere and whatever happens next together, right? But like you're also not just a human here, right? You're not just a
Yeah.
meat suit. You get to be both, and your ability and willingness to have the pizza or eat the ice cream or experience the like, yeah, I'm just gonna scroll on LinkedIn a little bit and just see what comes up. Who knows? Like there might be something totally aligned out there for me. Magic could happen. Wow, look at this dream job that no one else has applied for. Like, woo, apply now. Cool, right? But I'm present to it. That like a
hmm
willingness and ability to hold the human expands our willingness and ability to hold the magic and experience the magic.
Yeah. So there is something that you said when you were really talking about your, I guess we'll call it the dark night of the soul, which is really your like 2022 era. And this was something that I wanted to go back to because when you said it, I've actually never heard anyone explain it similar to how I've felt it. So I would love to hear your take on it, which was okay, you kind of went through this journey of healing your symptoms physically before this. Okay, got into the health work is now, hey, I'm helping other people. I learned all these tools. Oh my gosh, my world's changed. And then you feel this lack of alignment in your life. This is kind of the dark night of the soul time. And you said, oh my gosh, all the symptoms came back. All of a sudden, the gut issues and the headaches and the not sleeping. I have never heard anyone else explain that so well. And I've felt very similar when all of a sudden more of the spiritual piece that's really calling you up into deeper, greater work is now like I feel like I'm quote unquote unhealed again. Like,
Hmm.
what the fuck?
Yeah, how did
So,
all these symptoms come back? What's this old body
right.
doing here? Hmm.
So I want to know like what was your experience? Like how did you navigate that time? Because maybe there are other I have talked to actually a few people, especially when we were doing our intuition development and all of our bodies were
Mm,
like freaking the fuck out.
yeah.
But I would love to hear your take on it and just like what your experience was. Like how did you navigate that? Because I know it is a little terrifying and like a mind fuck. You're like, I did this. I've done this. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of this.
Hmm. Yeah, how did I handle that? Not well. Not,
That's okay.
I mean,
It's okay.
again, is there any good or any bad? No, I in the beginning of it, I doubled down on like everything I could do for my body, right? I was like, well, I will exercise more, I'll intermittent fast more. Wrong choice. Spoiler alert. Like that's eating less is usually not the answer, in almost any situation. I will take more supplements. I will get more chiropractic adjustments. I will double down on what I'm doing for my body. And that did not work, right? It'd work a little and then, and so looking back at it now, those same check engine lights, like I kind of have the belief that our bodies have vulnerable areas because
Hmm
that's where either the like literal, food or toxin or immune challenge or whatever based trauma happens. And that's where if there's emotional trauma or energetic, misalignment or blocks, like that's where it goes. And so those
hmm
are more vulnerable spots, whether that's to physical issues or to energetic emotional issues. And our body goes back to those patterns or to those places or to those symptoms because it's like this will get her attention, right? Like
mm
energetically, like my soul was like, okay, you know what'll get her? You know what'll get her for sure is if she stops sleeping again. She does not tolerate. She's like a cranky baby. Like the bitch needs to sleep, right? And I stopped sleeping, and I was like, that doesn't mean anything. And my soul is like, okay, all right, we got to go bigger guns. Let's mess with her gut. Like doesn't matter what she eats, like that's some weird digestive stuff going on there. Like, let's see, that'll get her. If she, yep, no, doesn't matter. Like, she just keeps taking binders and enzymes and ignoring it. Okay, all right, that's not doing it. All right, let's go periods. Let's do some weird stuff to her menstrual cycle. She's worked really hard to balance her periods after 10 years on hormonal birth control. She doesn't even give a fuck that her last cycle was 48 days long. Like, why doesn't she care, right? Okay, you know what we're gonna do next? Skin. Give her acne again. That'll get her. That one got me pretty. I was like, oh, wait a second. Something's off.
The
Something's not
vanity.
right. Honestly, right? I was like, ooh, 16-year-old Chelsea is triggered. Like, ooh, I gotta get up earlier to put on makeup now for work. Like, oh, but I'll just get up earlier. It'll be fine. I'm not sleeping great anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So it's like, oh, okay. So when those symptoms, I think especially when things come back, It's like just this big call up to, oh, okay, this is my body is trying to tell me something. And that might be, well, there's been a change in your environment, right? I moved into a new home and all of a sudden those allergies and asthma that I thought were gone, they're back. Okay, there might be something in my environment that my body is trying to tell me about, right? My
Mm-hmm.
through my vulnerable or communicative tissues, or nothing is really, I don't think anything has really changed. So, okay, this is my body trying to tell me something emotionally and energetically. And I know, like, in legit, like, biochemistry, no, it's all legit, right? But in like body function, biology, biochem, physiology, there's this concept of like biological retreading. So when we get sick, right, quote unquote sick, like we pick up layers of shit and symptom and to the point where we're like, all right, fuck it, I can't live like this anymore. I'm gonna start healing. And we go back through those same layers of healing
Mm-hmm.
physically. And there's probably something too, now that I'm saying this out loud, when we, wound and trauma and suppress and whatever emotionally, we probably do the same thing on the way up. And especially when you're in a spiritual awakening or developing your intuition and psychic gifts, it's like rocket ship up that. And so
Mm-hmm.
those symptoms might not even be telling you, something's wrong. You're not listening. Those symptoms might be telling you there's actually just still healing here to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it, right? Or there's something to be looked at. You looked at it from a body parasite, food sensitivity, mold, glyphosate perspective. Now let's look at it from an emotional, energetic lens as well. But
Mm-hmm.
to circle, I think it's the let's get her, this will get her attention, right? She knows this. She hated that one. She's still ignoring it. That's literally, I mean, that was my whole, all of
Yeah.
2022 was half of 2021, most of 2022 was just like red flag, red flag, red flag. I'm like, I'm gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
dating. I'm gonna keep dating this guy. It's going really well. And this guy is the toxic environment that I keep myself in. And I'm, all my friends are like, you gotta get out. And I'm like, nope. And all my friends are, my intuition and my husband and my literal friends and my family are like, you gotta get out. And I'm like, I'm staying. Blinders on. Not not great, but all great also.
Oh my God, my cheeks hurt from laughing because it resonates so well. Like I'm not laughing at you, but I'm like,
No, no.
oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Well, and I mean, I don't know if it was exactly this way or similar, but it's like, have you had that experience where you finally got the message and then that's when the symptom just kind of like disappears and you're like, that's
Uh-huh.
it? Like
Yeah.
you're like, I think I know what this means and it makes no logical sense and you're finally like, oh, I think that did something for me.
Yep. That was it. Okay. I have a my brain loves to make sense of things. Human brains do, right? Like
Oh,
this thing
certainly.
is like pattern finder, make it make sense. This has always been my thing with muscle testing. Is like I love muscle
Yeah.
testing. Super cool tool, right? And biofeedback, super cool
Uh-huh.
tool. And I need it to make sense with what I know of like biochemistry and physiology. Like I'm like
Mm.
somewhere I will go to the depths of the internet to find the one piece of data that like makes this click because that's where we get these breakthroughs of like let's
Yeah.
open up what we consider in the realm of anything causes anything. That's how it works for my brain, right? And so are often I can look back and go, oh, I can see how those things link together, but it takes so much
Mm.
trust in that moment to go like, huh, this digestive thing really is probably not it's not a food thing. Oh, and it's like maybe not even like a I'm not processing emotions thing because I've kind of looked at that. This might be an energy thing, but like my brain is like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know, but we're gonna tend to it and see what happens. And then it's like, oh, look at that, number 4 on a Bristol stool chart. Like, huh, interesting. I don't know. You could try to make it make sense if you want to, brain, but why don't we just celebrate the win and then,
Hmm.
carry on, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
But how have you merged all of your experiences together to really kind of end up in this multidimensional space? And what you just said
Yeah.
right there too is like, okay, is it physical? Is it emotional? Is it energetic? Maybe you can't really logic it your way into it. But now, like you said, you had success, quote unquote, with what you were trying to heal. If that's constipation, I don't know if that's like a very
Yeah.
common thing for me. So it's like, oh, if that's happening, like something's off. I don't know what, but like we'll figure it out. And then you're
Hmm.
like, hey, this was energetic today. how do you how do you kind of like encourage yourself that maybe not every single time it's energetic, like maybe
Yeah.
you do need to kind of like rotate through all the different levels and dimensions of possibilities and not get your brain sucked into it's this pattern every single
Yep.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. In that. that realm of multidimensional medicine, right? Which has been such a fun thing for you and I to talk about. It's such an
Hmm.
expander for you and I to talk about.
Hmm.
Really looking at the different like realms of health is kind of how I refer to them, right? Is this
Yeah.
like a physical body thing? Is this a biochemical functioning thing? Is this emotional? Is this nervous system? Is this like me and my own energy field? Is this my connection to, above? Is this about my connection to the earth? And so something I've really been leaning into is like anything can cause anything. And I remember being taught that 8, 9 years ago in the world of holistic health, right? Like someone might have
Right.
digestive upset, but it might not be food. It might not even be bugs. It might be heavy metals, right? Anything can
Mm.
cause anything. Okay, cool. Or like emotions can cause a stomach ache. Anything can cause anything.
Right.
Okay, cool, sure, right? And then just to really expand that and go, literally any of these realms can contribute to what we're experiencing. But that also means, this has been the really helpful part for my brain, anything can heal anything, right?
Ooh.
Anything can be the solution to anything. So if I, if it, maybe we do have a classic A plus B, food sensitivity equals gut issue equals, work on your gut health and that gets better. Cool. That's super fun. But if you just go, how, like, it's playful kind of to go, like,
Hmm.
let's just see if this is more biochemical or if this is more emotional or if this is more energetic. And that's been a really, really fun thing to experiment with for myself and for clients to be in a space where they're like, oh, I'm just like emotionally like, oh, I'm just in the icks right now. And it's like, all right, well, let's look at how your body and your emotions and how that's all weaving together. And like, oh yeah, it turns out like your biochemical, like your body does, it is asking for a lot of help right now. And that's where the emotions come up. Or emotionally, yeah, your stress need or your stress level there is really high, but it actually comes up related to like an environmental toxin. So your ability to regulate emotions is being weighed down by like literal things that you're dealing with. And again, because my brain is just, she's left the building. She's
It's
gone now.
okay.
She's like,
You can
oh
come
no.
back later.
She said it out loud. Like she's, oh my goodness. Oh, we've lost her. Uh, right? But if anything can cause anything, then any solution can be the right solution for anything,
Mm.
right? And that's such a fun like playground to be in. And they call medicine, right? The practice of medicine. Well, if what we're doing, if we really actually look at the purpose of medicine is healing, and healing is to come
Hmm.
back to the wholeness and the truth of yourself and the well-being that you were born to have, that you were born with, that you still have. This is a practice. This is a constant expansion of how we clear the noise and bring people home to themselves and bring ourselves home to ourselves and lead ourselves first into that like fullness and wholeness and wellness, right?
Yeah, certainly. When you said right there that anything can heal anything, full body chills.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it is play. I like that you're bringing like play energy back into it because that's also cultivating that more passion and desire and play and fun energy. And then you're doing it for really healing
Mm-hmm.
purposes. So
Mm-hmm.
as we have been talking behind the scenes about multidimensional medicine and just using the word multidimensional, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but I would love to know like where you're at with the take on how you are reclaiming this title of multidimensional medicine, how you are really like starting to step into this. What has this experience been for you? Because I know I shared with you that I actually avoid using the word medicine because it just feels like, oh, you have to have the word doctor in front of your name to be able to use it. And I loved what your take on it and the way that you're just like, I'm showing up, I'm using it because it feels true, it feels right, it feels edgy, but it feels true to my soul.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I too avoided it, right? And you go through all the different trainings and schools and this and the other thing, and you're only allowed to use this word and that word, and it puts you in this box and the other box. And when multidimensional medicine came through for me, I first reached out almost immediately to you because I was like, this word is here, but you use that word. Can I use that word? Talk about a sisterhood wound. Like, good Lord. Uh, we're
I had
healing.
it too. I had it too. I saw someone else like you do. You see someone else using it and you think they have like, a copyright on that
A
word
trademark on it, right? I'm
or
like,
whatever.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know the legalese. Not a
Like
lawyer,
they've legally claimed it and we
right?
like can't
Like,
say it or use it or look at it.
right? Absolutely. It's like,
So it's
well,
okay.
to be multidimensional is just to claim the truth of who we are. So,
Mhm.
but my mentor Sophia really pointed out, right? She herself is like a medicine woman. She
Mm.
leads ceremony. She's deeply connected to plant medicine. She is a sound healer. Like her as a medicine woman, she's like, I don't give a fuck about the word like my medicine that I am serving is from my soul to help support the people that that gets meant for, to reclaim who they really are. Like her gift, her medicine is literally serving like literal medicine and her energetic medicine, and using her gifts to help people remember who they are and reclaim who they're here to be on this earth, right? And she's like, that's my medicine. She's like, if you look around and you see people who are really here in their purpose, right? Whether that's as a healer or a light worker or a leader or a mom or the like postal worker who gets so much joy, like they're serving their medicine, and them serving their medicine is them bringing more light and joy into the world. And I was like, okay, so we're going to just let the ego story about medicine, and to circle back to 19-20-year-old Chelsea, the I'm going to go to medical school.
Oh.
Yep. So that's been another visceral one. That's been a huge like reclaiming and clearing and allowing and crying and like, okay, like I'm claiming this to help heal the parts of me that I thought weren't good enough because I didn't do that. Well, actually, it turns out you're more rooted in medicine than you would have ever been, because your medicine is remembering who you are and what you're here to do and who you're here to serve. And it just also happens to be health related, which I think is where it gets a little trippy for the mind, right? It's like,
Yes.
but this isn't like medicine, like, but isn't just being in your alignment and being in your joy and shining your light, like, isn't that actually medicine? Like watching somebody laugh, like laughter is the best medicine. Watching somebody laugh from like the depths of their soul, isn't
Hmm.
that medicine? So to kind of reclaim that word feels like an opportunity to help everybody remember that like we are meant to be whole and well and sound and healthy and healed and all of these things, right? In
Hmm.
a world and in lot of systems that don't necessarily support us being healthy and well, right? That most of our
Certainly.
systems are not set up for health. I talk to clients about this all the time. They're like, I really wish that we just lived in a world where I didn't have to take supplements to not feel like a toxic bag of crap. And I'm like, "Mm, me too. I'm sorry you feel that way." Also, like we're gonna work on that part of it.
Hmm.
But we get to reclaim like what's inherently ours, and that is wellness, and that is
Hmm.
health, and that is vitality, and that is light. And now that I'm talking about it, I'm like, now the word medicine feels powerful, but like also silly that I ever felt afraid to use it, because your medicine is shining your light. And for me, kind of walking the path of multi-dimensional medicine, my mouth even is like, oh, she's saying it again. Oh God. Walking that path means tending to all of those realms of health for myself, right? Physical, biochemical, emotional, nervous system, spiritual, like energetic, all of those realms, and then claiming my ability and my skills and my knowledge and my purpose here to help other people do the same, to help assess
Hmm.
those realms, to help weave together like your physical and your energetics. I kind of picture it like your body is one side of a double helix and your energy is the other, and there's all these little cross links of like all these little pieces and parts, and it's like to weave that together, like that feels like medicine. Like, okay, cool, let's run with that, right? But now it's like it's a powerful word, but also it's like why were we ever afraid to use that, right?
Right. Yeah. And you do, I have heard people, and I've said it myself, like, you talk about your own medicine. Like you talk
Mhm.
about it in not like a claiming or titling type of way, but like, oh, this person gives their type of medicine, or that, like you even
Mhm.
said, like laughing is someone's medicine.
Absolutely.
And it's like we use it in this very like passing conversational way, but then when it becomes like, oh, like when I've heard someone say I'm a medicine woman, I was like, whoa, like how'd you get that title? Like that was my
Yeah.
first thought, right? Like, and now you're
Yeah.
talking about it.
Where'd you go to school? Right. I know.
She's
Same.
like, my life. And I'm like,
Like
awesome. Okay.
Earth and
I
the
literally asked this
12D.
girl, yeah, there's like this person I have in mind. I literally was like, so how'd you get certified? She's like, yeah, no, it's like not how it works. I'm like, got it. Okay.
Got it.
Understood. Makes sense. But
Yeah.
even hearing you use it, like, is very expansive for me. So, when you were saying, like, oh, I was using the word multidimensional, and you're like, whoa, that's expansive. And now you're like, you're using the word medicine. I'm like, whoa, that's expansive. And so it's kind of like this give and take I've been watching between like at least you and I and like some other people too, of can we reclaim these certain words that have been have so much energy on them that it's almost like you can't use them. Like they've been off limits and they have such an energetic charge. I know for you, like you just said, I didn't even think about the fact that how you started your journey and like wanting to become a doctor and now how your journey has unfolded. I'm sure that had a huge energetic charge and a lot to work through. So that, I mean, that makes total sense. I mean, I'm so excited for you, like to really step in, for you to step into this role and for you to reclaim it, and not only for yourself, but I think it's opening a door for so many other people to do the same.
Yeah. Well, I very much feel the same about your work, of course, which, because we're apparently nearly the same person, which I love for us. I love that for the world, honestly, because, quantum leaps and all, like I still do really like my sleep. I am a cranky,
Yeah.
cranky baby if I don't get enough sleep. And I don't need you to send me any more messages through fucking with my sleep. I will just listen. Soul, I'm doing my best, okay? Watch, I'll sleep. Well, I'll probably sleep like a baby tonight. Because I actually said the
I know you've
things
said all the
I
things
know
like out
I
loud. Like that is
were
medicine in
expressed.
itself, out
That is
loud.
medicine in itself. Absolutely, absolutely. I think just to have, it's so much of what we do when we work in a like foundational medicine, emotional energy medicine, like when we work in these lenses, none of it is none of it is new, right? Like
Mhm.
what we're doing, like what we're here to do is actually just these beautiful tools being remembered. Now, yes, we get
Yeah.
better supplements and cooler biohacking things or better ways to describe the energetics that help more people understand so they get curious and they enter into the world of energy healing and they want to know more about the dimensions and who they are when they're not just among we get those things, but really I think all of that comes through remembering. Like our best supplements come when we more deeply meet and understand the earth and learn how to work with the elements, right? Our best
Hmm.
biohacking is all based on elemental stuff that we're just figuring out
Right.
how to more, succinctly utilize. And our best energetics, that's just full, I mean, that's like full memory. That's full, like we can all go to all the training programs and all the schools for all of the intuitive everything. I feel like you could go to 45 different intuitive schools and still not be intuitive because it's actually loving yourself and trusting yourself enough to fully lean into who you are and create that connection, right? Or you could go
Yeah.
to zero schools and have that intuitive connection, like all
Hmm.
of those things. But it's really about like remembering and deepening our connection and like having that presence and that willingness to lean in when everybody else leans out because it's a little bit uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable or really
Hmm.
exciting, how we're going to call it, right?
Exciting. We're
Exciting.
rewriting this for
We're
you.
rewriting it. And that then means as a practitioner, as a healer, as a light worker, as a leader, as a health coach, as a, whatever title, right? Because titles are so funny. That means then, like, you get to help people in a way that they didn't even know was possible to be helped,
Yeah,
right? Like, you get to unlock things for people or help people unlock things for themselves, right? Because we're all our own
certainly.
healers that can then help them illuminate their path and their purpose here. And then they get to go and bring more light into the world. And this is a really cool ripple effect. I used to have this like very strong belief that I needed to, go to school, get my degree. I needed to teach in a classroom so that I could have like a ripple effect because you can only do so much one-to-one work. Like at some point
Right.
you're like, I got 80 to 100 patients a week and I was like my knees are going to fall off. Like I can't I like physically I have no more capacity.
Yeah.
Uh but like I want a bigger impact, right? But what if
Right.
our impact, and this is really what I'm like, oh, this week fully, it's Friday. Okay, so it's been a full week. I'm like, holy shit, I would absolutely still go teach in a classroom. I love school. Okay, it's like that's the I don't know, Hermione Granger in me that it's like give me like a backpack and I got binders everywhere in here. Like let's do this thing, right? I would absolutely do that. 100%. But what if, in our own reclaiming and remembering of who we are and our medicine and how we're here to serve in this multidimensional capacity, we support other people in unlocking their remembrance and their
Mm-hmm.
medicine and their light, and then they go out and have a bigger ripple. And all of a sudden, instead of like one to one or one to even, a group, we love group programs, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
course, like we're in the health and wellness industry. If you don't have a group program, like what are you even
Who
doing?
are you?
I don't have a group program. I don't know. I have like four outlines for one though. We'll see. Maybe I'll start one today. Who knows what'll happen?
Hey, it's the floor
Uh,
four portal. Anything can happen.
that's true. It is, isn't it? Love
You
that.
scheduled this.
And I love angel numbers. I literally have 777 tattooed on my wrist. Didn't realize it was 4/4 today. I have written the date multiple times, so talk about presence.
Just bringing you
But yeah,
back
thank you. Into the human, onto
a
earth.
little.
Just a hint. If like that ripple effect, right? If like one to one or one to group, but like one to their many and then one to one to the and all of a sudden
Mm,
we have this like bigger community of people in their light serving their medicine, and that might literally be like I have clients that are moms and they're like that's their thing, right? They're like, oh, I'm just a
yeah.
stay-at-home mom. I'm like, you're just a stay-at-home mom? Do not put me down for that. I'm terrified of children. So that's a different issue. But like if you like, and I watch these women be like so present and so in it and so like lovingly regulated, or they recognize when like that kiddo's dysregulation is actually a reflection of their own or their own healing they need to do, and they call themselves up and they lead themselves through it so they can lead their kids. And I'm like, holy shit, that is you in your medicine serving your little humans that like you two are together for a reason, right? And then like they get to go out and be the, oh my God, like the just the impact is infinite.
Hmm.
It's like unimaginable, right? Again, my brain is like, oh, okay, shut it down. But that's really the truth, right? That's really what's possible when we lean into our medicine.
Yeah, and you having that perspective, I mean, it even is like expanding my mind to like think about that because certainly like we're taught one to one to group, and oh, that's about it. But when you said and you have that perspective of, hey, I'm actually guiding you and helping you activate your own gifts, so then it ripples out. And like you said, you don't have to be a quote unquote healer with that title. You can be a mother, you could be a teacher. I have literally said the cycle teacher at my gym, I'm like, there is something working through you, man, because like you need to get paid more is all I have
Hmm.
to say. There you could be anybody, like you're saying, rippling that
Yep.
out into society in whatever way that looks for you.
Hmm.
And so I would love for you to tell everyone if they do want to work with you, how is that possible? Because I do see this vision that you're really bringing forward of you really supporting these type of people and rippling out your
Yeah.
magic to activate others. So if someone is like, okay, I love this woman, I can't get enough of her, like please give me more of Chelsea, because I know
Ah.
everyone will. How does one continuously get more Chelsea and work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure you'll put links and bios and
Yes.
things in the show notes, right? So
Yes.
I'm Chelsea Kaz-Goethel on Instagram, and of course, all the other links and communication are in there. But I am on the very, very precipice of fully rolling out and starting to offer a new level of one-on-one mentorship. And it's really been a call up for me in how I lead myself and how I want to serve and lead clients. And that is very much an empowered healer, one-on-one, high touch kind of space and container for people. Sometimes I say women, and then I'm like, wait, I have some baller dude clients. Weird
Hmm.
sentence, right? But like people,
We knew
anybody.
what you meant.
Thank
It's
you.
okay.
Don't edit that out. Please leave that in there.
Nope, it's
Um,
all there. You're
this is
welcome.
unedited. This really big call up to serve in this. I'm calling it the empowered healer. One on one, truly for the empowered healers, light workers, leaders, like people who are on their soul's mission in this lifetime, and they're looking for the type of support that helps them ensure that their physical health, their body, and their emotional and energetic health are cared for, kind of on both sides of that DNA double helix, if you will. So really tapping in and doing, kind of a multidimensional assessment and looking at where are you when it comes to your gut and your sleep and your energy. And when we get into energy, that can be body energy, that can be, literal energetics, right? What's going on from a, kind of chakra perspective? How about your emotions and your regulation? What are your tools? What are you using? What can we optimize? And these are the people like us who are continuously getting to know themselves better and deepening their connection with themselves and their work and their mission. And
Hmm.
so for the, healers, light workers, leaders who are going, I know I'm on the cusp of expansion. I know I'm here to keep serving in a bigger way. I'm showing up to my work, whatever you call it, whatever your, revolution is, and I'm unwilling to let my body physically, my physical health, or my emotional or energetic health, like I'm not willing to let those things get in the way, right? Because how many of us, now this does not mean we don't have expansion and contraction moments, right? If you're out there, full human adrenaline, serving and sharing and teaching and leading, like you do have to rest after that. There's no, I don't know. I don't. I'm pretty sure like as a human, right, you do have to rest after that. And it's a
Yeah.
blessing to know that. And it's a blessing to be able to take the time to do that. But how many of us have expanded and then just crashed to shit and we're like, what am I supposed to do about this, right? And so this container, this empowered healer container is really the invitation to support yourself and have somebody support you from that physical and energetic perspective as you like deepen into your soul's purpose, right? To really
Hmm.
lean in and I've heard people use the phrase like I'm the healer's healer, right? If you're a healer and you need a healer, I'm your healer. And I'm like, oh my God, that you say
Inception,
it seriously, right? I'm like,
but like not
where
in a
does it
sexy
begin?
way.
Not in a sexy way. Where does it begin? Well, I have a weird relationship to the word healer because I always thought that's weird to claim yourself as a healer, but then I
Hmm.
was like, well, we're actually all our own healers, so like technically everyone is a healer. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, I think the reason I resist that is because I like the idea of the empowered healer. Like I want the person that's like,
Certainly.
I'm here because I know I could probably sort this out on my own, but I am willing to go my energy and time and resources are going into my mission, and I want the person that can help me take care of the other stuff, take care of the body and take care of the energetics, and I'm willing to take responsibility for what I need to do and how I need to be so that
Hmm.
that work works. Absolutely. I recognize that if I'm doing a lot and I still don't feel quite right, like it's probably time to find someone to support me in that. But it's that empowerment, it's that empowered healer kind of vibe, right? Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you're in the victim of your circumstances, like you won't be listening to this. I don't. That's we will probably
Not
never
this
meet.
far. You will
Not
not
this
get to
far.
this part. The people that are listening to this, like
Yeah,
there's a reason.
absolutely,
We keep it at
absolutely.
a digestible amount, but if you're still here, like
Yeah.
you didn't fall off the truck yesterday.
No, absolutely, right? If this is for you, I'm so happy you're still here. But really, yeah, that is a new thing. The one-on-one, this like high level, full embodiment of the fact that I know I'm here to help support people physically
Hmm.
through years and years and years of training and learning and schooling, and I'm here to support people energetically and emotionally through years and years and years of experience and through training and learning, right? And you posted this
Certainly.
yesterday, like how do you have the qualifications to help people the way you do? Because I fucking lived it. Because like I've I point A all the way wherever that is, I don't know, to point right now is really the best training we'll ever get, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I think that's how the majority of us got to this place.
Hmm.
Everyone I ask is like, yeah, my body like took a dive and I had to crawl my way back out. So certainly
Hmm.
like the lived experience, of course, plus the trainings and the knowledge and all the things, but it's
Yes.
like that is the embodiment, is the lived piece.
Hmm.
So certainly if you're called to work with this amazing woman, send her a message. Yes, all the links, all the things, all the details in the show notes. Go find her on Instagram, send her a message. And I just want to thank you so, so much for giving your time, your energy, your essence, everything
Mm.
on this show, on this episode, and just really blessing us with your presence and your wisdom and everything and having this conversation with me. If you are all still here, which I know that you are because this is just like the juiciest conversation, like I think about having to write the description for this and I just want to be like, I don't know, just watch. Like I'm so like just press play, okay? Do I really have to describe this? Like there's not enough words for this
Mhm.
description.
Mhm.
But really, if, for anyone still listening, is just I wanted to thank you all for still being here with us and for taking your time and energy out to really spend your day with us, spend your hour with us, or however long we recorded.
I have
I
no
don't
idea.
know. I
I
have no
don't know
idea.
either.
Well, thank you, Chelsea, so much for being here. I just so
Mhm.
appreciate it. I'm very, very grateful to have you on.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the time to connect today and for all of your time always to really be a sister and a sounding board and an empowered healer and to walk the multidimensional path together. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. More to come. This is just the beginning, but I'm so glad
Mm.
that we've been able to connect in such beautiful ways, including this episode. So, for anyone listening, if you have not already, make sure that you follow the podcast on Spotify. You can also leave a comment below if anything really resonated with you. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts just to help us grow this podcast, get Chelsea's episode out there. And you can also subscribe on the YouTube channel if you are watching our magical, beautiful faces on video. And if there was anyone that really popped into your mind as you were listening to this episode, a friend, a family member, someone who you just know, hey, you really need to hear what this girl's got to say because this is next level multidimensional, if you know what I mean, send them this episode so that we can continue to spread the love and the magic together. And I just thank you so much for being with us. So, Chelsea, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And everyone else, I will see you in the next episode. See you later. Bye.
Bye.